Hi everybody, it's Linda here. This video is about some bizarre experiences I've had throughout my life. First thing, I went to work at USAC. It was one of my first jobs. It wasn't my very first job, but it was one of my first jobs. And while I was working there, I worked there for about 5 years, and while I was working there for 3 years in a row, this man came, and his name was John. And his language was very strange. And he just worked there during the summer for 3 years. I guess he came from Arizona, and Arizona was really hot, so this was his way of staying cooler. But his name was John, and he used this language. It was really weird. He dressed like he was out of the 70s. And he had long, stringy hair, and, he wore a beard and a mustache, full thing, and he used to wear his hair back in a ponytail a lot, and his language was like, nay, nay, yay, yay. And he used to say he was in a foul mood a lot. And but he was really, really easygoing and felt very good to be around. And every once in a while, he just said he was in a foul mood. He didn't really say much. And he was a very peculiar person. And there's that one guy in the scriptures that they talk about that wanted to live forever and bring back people to Jesus forever, kind of thing. And that was John the Revelator, and that was granted to him. And it wasn't then, but it was much later that my guides explained to me, or my unseen explained to me, that that's exactly who that man was. And this wasn't the only time that this kind of thing happened to me. There was one time I was up at Newspaper Rock, and this was about 2003, 2004, somewhere in there. And I was standing there, and I was really bummed out. I was trying to figure out my life, and I was asking God who I should marry next. Who was I supposed to be with? And the voice came in my head and said, well, why don't you ask him? And he pointed at this dude. And there was this guy, and he was standing in front of Newspaper Rock over in Moab, outside of Moab. And he had jet black hair, and it was kind of poofy, and he was kind of dressed like he was in the 70s. And right next to him, standing next to him, was this guy with blonde hair, and his hair was in a ponytail. He had long blonde hair. Both of them had long hair. And both of them had beards and mustaches, and I don't know. I think they both had mustaches, but they didn't have beards. And the one blonde-headed dude had a dog, a little tiny Chihuahua. But what was interesting is I'm like, yeah, why would I do that? Why would I ask a total stranger? Yeah, because the thought came, why don't you ask him? I'm like, why would I ask a total stranger? Well, then I watched them, and they left. They left together and everything, and they walked away. And I watched them as they walked away, and they totally just disappeared while I was watching them walk away. It was totally like, whoa, are you kidding me? And they just totally disappeared. And I followed where they went and where they disappeared to. And, there was nowhere where they disappeared where, you know what I mean? I should have still been able to watch them walking. It was so weird. And so I inquired of my unseen guides, what was that? And who were they? And they told me that it was Jesus and Peter. And I was like, oh. So now I really wish I would have asked him, what would he have said? I don't know what he would have told me. But anyways, such is life. Anyway, so there was another one. Then it happened again. I met John the Baptist it was 4 years ago when I lived over in the desert up above Fruta. And I went out there, and basically John the Baptist, it was a reincarnated John the Baptist, but I met him. And that John and that Peter and that Jesus that I saw together, they were outside of time. And I met this other guy, Hamid, the Archangel of Miracles, and he was also outside of time when I met him. But like in the flesh, but outside of time. So like traveling the dimensions. And I starting to get a gist that there are different people that do different things like this. And so another one that I met in a bizarre way was Almine. Almine, I met her in my vision for 6 months before I found her online and started seeing her and watching her. And she's a very interesting person, and she has a lot of similar beliefs that I do. And so obviously, you know, she's one of my guides or whatever, and I kind of saw her in vision before I saw her on the videos or whatever, because, you know, she's kind of been guiding me and such. So these are, you know, some bizarre things that are going on here. Anyways, you know, I had other inside of time experiences, blah, 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 other dimension, you know, where my daughter came to me and talked to me before she was born. I have another daughter that is going to come to me, being my daughter, who's not born yet, who talks to me now. I have a son who came to me and talked to me before he was born and told me his name, and then later on had the experience of dreaming. He was telling somebody what his name was. Anyways, just bizarre stuff. Also, this happened with me and my sister Ari Ann, where I also manifested her into this world. I wished for her and she came, but also she came into my dreams and saved me and protected me from another. And, you know, so I've had a lot of these bizarre outside of time experiences. I'm like this multidimensional person, and we all are. We're all these multidimensional people who go around and we, you know, we can go into the dimensions and stuff. And I have been doing it my whole life. I just didn't realize that's what I was doing, you know, like we just know, we don't know what we know, we don't know that we know what we're doing, but we do. We don't know what's on the other side of the door, but for some reason, not knowing what's on the other side of that door makes it, it's almost like it makes it better for us. It's like we can navigate better because we don't know. And just for instance, let's say, okay, my guides have been asking me not to wear my glasses lately, okay? So I haven't worn my glasses for about 3 weeks. It might have been a month. I don't know. I lose track of time. But anyways, every once in a while I throw them on because I need to see something, but I don't wear them like I used to. I don't wear them around anymore. I hardly ever put them on. And I've noticed something. I do not trip up as much as I used to. I used to trip all over everything, all over the place when I was walking around and stuff. So apparently when I can't see as well, I seem to navigate the world a bit better than when I can see clearly. So navigating the unseen is like not seeing clearly. And I don't mean it in that way, but we almost, because we're human and multidimensional creatures and we're here to manifest and create, we almost navigate the unseen better than we don't, you know, than not knowing what's coming. We handle that better than when we do know what's coming. Do you see what I'm saying? This is me, and this is a special message for whoever wants to listen about my weird, bizarre, dimensional experiences. I love you all. Thank you for listening.